Ashley Share. I'm the founder and CEO of ShareLove.Fund. Today we are in week 7 of our RYT 200 registered yoga teacher training, the 200-hour course, the basic one. I'm just going to put my agenda on the camera so that folks that need to speed through this who are not watching it live can mark themselves. This is the agenda. So we're going to have 3 parts for this hour-and-a-half class. Each part is going to be, well, I guess it's like 3 units. Each unit is 30 minutes. Each unit is broken into another 3 parts. Each of those parts is 10 minutes. So this 90-minute class or hour-and-a-half class will be 9 sections of 10 minutes. So as follows. So we're going to start with 30 minutes of mindfulness. The first 10 minutes is going to be a centering. So I'm just going to put this marker up for a second so folks that want to fast forward and rewind can find it. Wait, 10 minutes of centering. We're going to start that now. So, as usual, we're going to talk about a Tao proverb. So here it is visually in case that helps. So this is week 7, Warrior 2. So we have Warrior 2. And we have a Tao proverb about what it means to be a warrior. This proverb says, can you be both martial and spiritual? For the visual learners, can you be both martial and spiritual? So let's think about this. Then the second part is, so martial is what we think of in terms of military, discipline, rigor, honor, self-sacrifice, sometimes closed elements, not giving way to feelings. Spiritual, sometimes we attribute feminine qualities to that, emotionality, being open, being receptive. So this Tao proverb, it starts with the first sentence, can you be both martial and spiritual? By the way, there's no right answer to this. This is not brainwashing class. This is critical thinking. We have, we use our it's live, so blips and bloopers and all. Our yoga teaching methodology was designed during COVID for incarcerated women so that they could spend their time behind bars where they were not allowed visitation during COVID of their children. They could spend their time earning a degree that would give them a livelihood that respects their mind, body, and soul. They also could benefit from analytical thinking, reading, writing, and we published a book, which I'll get to in a minute, but the Broadening Our Horizon series. So when we go over these ancient texts, yes, of course, these types of proverbs influence yoga, but what we're really trying to do is make confident yoga teachers, because a confident yoga teacher can also be confident in the boardroom or whatever they choose as their vocation in life. We have a high school leaders program, and our high schoolers, many of which are participating on this video, a lot of them are not going to be yoga teachers, but we say strong on the mat, strong in life. And the critical thinking and analytical thinking skills that we practice are applicable in any situation. Plus, self-mastery is a really great competitive advantage to have. It's an ongoing process, and that's why we look at these texts. So just to put that in context. So anyway, the first sentence is, can you be both martial and spiritual? So can you be both disciplined and also open and receptive? Can you be both focused on your agenda, but also available and compassionate? Or maybe you define this a different way, but basically this proverb starts with this dichotomy that there's sort of 2 ways to be. You know, sometimes it's nice to pick up the phone and listen to a friend call when they need advice, but then sometimes that makes you late for where you're going. So every philosopher sort of comes down to the same conclusion, that life is a balance and it's good to be balanced. So you can think of the balance or juggling act of life as juggling these two things, being martial, being spiritual. Let's see what the second sentence says. Okay, so it says, can you overcome your ultimate opponent? Can you overcome your ultimate opponent? So now what immediately comes to mind when you think about overcoming your ultimate opponent? Do you have an arch nemesis, or are you in the middle of a divorce, or maybe your opponent is this test and you want to conquer it? But basically, through life, we have many different battles or challenges, but the real ultimate opponent is sort of the battle within ourselves. And so I put some key words here. So we have fear, sloth or laziness, ignorance, selfishness, and egotism. And is there anything else? Maybe greed, maybe attachment. Sometimes there's this song, looking for love in all the wrong places. Sometimes when we want something so badly, we get distorted in our view of where it is. So the second line, I'll just go over it again. Can you overcome your ultimate opponent? And the way I'm analyzing that, but my opinion is just as valid as yours, and please feel free to comment on YouTube or in our class section on Teachable. But the way I'm interpreting that, it based on other philosophies of the time, consistent with those, is that the ultimate opponent is yourself. That through life, you have many different experiences and the battles change faces. But at the end of the day, it's how you carry yourself. Are you going to miss your train for a job interview and blame the world and say, well, this is why I don't have a job, because this kind of stuff happens to me? Or are you going to get on another train and use your time waiting on the platform to send your resume to 10 more places? I say to a lot of our constituents that we help, and I know it's a little harsh, but I tell them, there's winners and there's losers. So which one are you going to be? Because you know what? Everybody has problems. And every problem can kind of be an opportunity. And I share this story of my grandmother, it's actually my great-great-grandmother. So yeah, my great-great-grandmother, my grandmother's grandmother, was Jewish in Belarus area, and was arrested for breaking curfew when she needed to get food. So she went to jail, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's horrible. I bet she made herself sick trying to get out. Well, it turns out that she didn't. She had 11 children, she had psoriasis, and she just rested in jail. When she got out, her psoriasis was cured, and she felt great, she looked great, she didn't have to bandage her wounds anymore, and she really took lemons and she made lemonade. So the second sentence, can you overcome the ultimate opponent? It's yourself. You could literally be in the worst situation and you can find light in it. So I'll just pull this up again for the visual learners. But so the full text is, can you be both martial and spiritual? Can you overcome your ultimate opponent? And I'm going to say you can, because we are in this RYT 200 together. We have our pose of the week, Warrior 2, and we're feeling like a warrior. And I'm also going to end with a few things that being a warrior doesn't mean being violent, And overcoming your ultimate opponent doesn't mean hurting anyone. Switzerland has a very strong army because they want to be neutral. Sometimes we get strength so that we can keep the peace. And yoga is about boundaries. Our mat is a boundary, a physical boundary. As we increase our mindfulness, we get the power of our mind to respond instead of react, and that's another strength. And through these strengths, limiting our reactions, we can, our impulsive reactions, by limiting them, we can be deliberate in our actions and create an environment of peace. So be strong to be peaceful is the message in that. Moving right along, let's go to 10 minutes of breath work. So we'll start that. Since we're not moving too much, I'm just gonna add a layer to warm up. So for the breath work, please take a comfortable seated position. You can be in a chair. You can even do this standing up. Just find your natural breath. You can lift your shoulders up, lift them down. Now, for people a little less comfortable with breath work, it's nice to remember that your voice is your breath, right? That's why when somebody's choking, they can't ask for help because their voice is restricted. So to really kind of get a little comfortable with using our breath, let's just use our voice a little bit. So let's just try those three things. So I'm sort of doing the loose lips. I wish I could hear everyone, but I can't on YouTube. But, you know, just be silly about it and use it as a way to kind of let go of all that tension. And we'll do it one more time. And now let's use our diaphragm more, and we'll just push out sound like ah. You can do it with your arms, ah. Ah. So we're just kind of like getting the breath work flowing. You know, all this yoga stuff, there's so much intimidation, like I'm not good enough to do yoga, or I don't know what a yoga class is, or what is breath work. I don't know. We're all alive. We must be breathing. So let's just demystify it and just be a little silly with it. So let's do that ah again, and we'll move our hands around 3 times. Ah. 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 Okay, and now let's exhale. And we'll just like let the shoulders drop, and we'll do that sound, okay? So, here the mouth is kind of closed, but we're still using the breath to create the vibrations, and you can feel it in your jaw. If it helps to have your hands on the cheeks, go for it. Okay, now that we're all warmed up, let's just kind of pick your favorite sound of that. You can do the or the ah or the but let's kind of just shake it out and make some sounds. If you're standing up, or if you want to kind of get up, you can shake it out a little more and just kind of move your body with the breath. Okay, now that we're all comfortable, let's again take a deep breath in, exhale, shrug the shoulders up, drop them down. Shake your head, yes. Shake your head, no. I forgot which is which, but now I remember. And now as you go to try to find your natural breath, I hope that you may find it a little easier. Sometimes when we are initially asked, find your natural breath, we kind of freeze up. Like, what's that? Like we forget how to breathe, as if we've never breathed before. But sometimes when we get all silly, it's just too weird to hold on to all the fears. And when we let go of all the fears, of course we know where our natural breath is. And it's important to know that your natural breath is actually a breath technique. That's one of your go-to breaths. That's a breath in your breath toolkit. So when you think about breath work, and all of you are going to earn your yoga teaching degree, you might get a little overwhelmed. Oh, I forgot about alternate nostril breathing, or I forgot about ujjayi, or this or that breath. But what if you think, oh, my natural breathing rhythm is a type of breath, and I know how to do that awesome, because that's my breath, my way. So you've already mastered one of the breaths in the breath buffet of breath work, and you can fall back on that natural breath to gain confidence that you're going to be a great yoga teacher, and you've already mastered your own breath. So now let's take your own breath and let's optimize it. So we're going to optimize it by using our finger to sort of visualize the breath. So you can inhale and move your finger horizontally. Hold your breath, like retain it, not like, but comfortably pause after the inhale while you move your finger up. Exhale. And you can pause while you move your finger down. Now let's try the inhale and exhale, but as long as your nose is not constricted, let's breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. In the nose, holding with the finger up. And I encourage you to actually use your finger with the breath. It's a little bit of coordination, but it actually forces us to focus, and that's really good for the mind and good for reducing cortisol and de-stressing. Wait, exhale through the mouth. Hold, bring your finger down. Inhale through the nose, bring your finger across. Hold, bring your finger up. Exhale through the mouth, bring your finger across. Hold, bring your finger down. Inhale, bring your finger across. Inhale through the nose. Hold, bring your finger up. Exhale, bring your finger across. Exhaling through the mouth. Hold, bring your finger down. Inhale through the nose, bring your finger across. Hold, bring your finger up. Exhale through the mouth, bring your finger across. Hold, bring your finger down. Inhale through the nose, bring your finger across. Hold, bring your finger up. Exhale through the mouth, bring your finger across. Hold, bring your finger down. Now I'm going to encourage you to do it. You still make the box, and but do it at your own pace. So I'll do it also, but please diverge from what I'm doing to be faster or slower so that you are finding the boundaries of your own lung expansion. Because as we expand our lungs, that is wonderful for respiratory health. So we'll just do 3 of those at your own pace. finish your last breath, inhale through the nose, hold, exhale through the mouth, hold, and now resume your natural breathing. That was excellent. So that concludes our 10 minutes of breath work. So now we're going to do our final section in our 30-minute first part unit, our first 30 minutes. Now we're doing the final 10 minutes of it, which is the 10 minutes of meditation. So these green cards are the mindfulness section. I know it's a little bit low tech, but it works. Low tech things don't break so much. So let's start our mindfulness meditation. Now we are in for a treat today because I'm going to read a passage from the book we wrote with our students, Broadening Our Horizons, What Can Modern Food Science Learn from Historic Nutritional Practices? This is a book that ShareLove.Fund students wrote, not this summer, but last summer. This summer we wrote a different book, Gandhi Goes to School. Both books are Amazon 5-star review books. I encourage you to go and buy them. Sorry, I had a little snafu. This meditation today is written by one of our students. And the cool thing about being your own publisher is that you can read verbatim from a book because it's yours. So it's super cute. But this is our beloved student Inez and I apple picking with other students. We did some field trips and she wrote a really beautiful essay. So today's meditation is going to be a little bit different. It's not your standard yoga meditation. It's going to be Inez, her high school personal statement essay, and we're going to use it today as a meditation, which I think is pretty cool. So anybody can be an author. You just need a pen, paper, laptop, whatever suits you. So Inez's essay is the afterword in Broadening Our Horizons, What Can Modern Food Science Learn from Historic Nutritional Practices? Page 261. She wrote an essay called Be What You Want to Be. And by the way, her essay was so well received that Yahoo picked it up and published it. And so she's been published in Yahoo, and you can find this essay also for free on our press page, ShareLove.Fund-RYT. And it's just really remarkable. She's in high school and she did this. So using what we learned in breath work, just take a comfortable seated position. If you're not comfortable to sit down, you can do this as a walking breath work meditation. And I'm just going to read Inez's words, and you can focus on your breath and, pick out what resonates with you. And it's just meant to be inspirational prose. It's not a traditional meditation to read somebody's statement, but it can be an inspiring work, and it's fun to switch it up in light of critical thinking and so forth. So here's what Inez writes. The phrase, "Don't judge a book by its cover," is a wildly common one. However, have people come to the complete understanding of the meaning behind these couple of words? Within society, there's no shortage of stereotypes. Individuals being judged by simply this overly simplified general view of their outside cover. Skin, race, hobbies. This human instinct takes over our subconsciousness and our minds, classifying something as dangerous or weird. Are all Latin Americans uneducated? No. Are all BIPOC people living in economically disadvantaged communities a threat? No. Are all Caucasian varsity athletes necessarily arrogant? No. But today, the question I will address is, does gender undermine what can and can't be done? And similarly, the answer is no. Just like skin color and race, gender is a very stereotyped topic. The expectations between males and females are on separate ends of the spectrum. One is a lazy housewife, and the other is the knight in shining armor providing for his family. Take your guess as to which one represents males and which one represents females. Although over time the lines between gender roles have become more blurred rather than rigid, rising companies in which women are empowered, such as ShareLove.Fund, will allow for these lines to disappear. As a young woman myself, I've learned from a young age to always alert myself of my surroundings and the constant agony of having to depend on others to feel safe. That sure isn't what a teenager ever wants to keep in mind in public. Is this too revealing? Is it okay to wear my hair up? Keep in mind, a woman's everyday actions can determine whether or not she will come home that day. Throughout history, a woman's role has always been to depend on her husband and to procreate. That was a woman's vulnerable state, and that state didn't allow her to be in a working environment surrounded by alpha male figures. Which brings to the question how historical women such as Katherine Johnson, Dorothy Vaughan, and Mary Jackson had such a life-altering impact on NASA, a space in which they were pushed down and rejected. As a 14-year-old female, still somewhat shielded from the real world, not many gender issues have arisen. But rather than being ill-prepared for the future, I choose to use it to my advantage. Surrounding myself with women who have had many altercations and others who are just like me, just peeking into the unfairness from the back seat of life. If nothing else, ShareLove.Fund has taught me that just because I am a woman doesn't mean that I am any less. History has proven that taking risks often leads to success. Whether conquering land or discovering new scientific innovations, it is usually men who are behind it. But the rules are always bound to change. Stepping out of your comfort zone is no easy task. In my case, I had been an athlete my entire life, continuously following the same routine. School, tennis, homework. During the winter, race skiing. On the weekends. The same friends, the same teammates, the same coaches. When my parents found out about the ShareLove.Fund Junior Teacher Training Program and asked me to apply, I had concerns from the onset. The program enables youth to earn the RYT 200 Yoga Alliance accredited adult teaching degree. The prerequisites include being 16 years old or older and the completion of high school biology. The reason for this requirement is that the course curriculum is a dense 375-page course manual with over 100 pages in additional handouts involving 30 hours of the study of anatomy, physiology, and biomechanics, as well as 30 hours in yoga humanities and philosophy, and 50 hours in professional essentials and ethics, and 75 hours in technical asana and pose training. As I joined nearly the end of my 9th grade year, lacking in both age and also a final grade in biology, I had to prove my maturity and professionalism in addition to demonstrating my mastery of functional anatomy. Driven by my passion for science and the invigorating feeling of forging my own path, I welcomed this challenge. I performed well on the evaluation and agreed to continue excelling in my high school biology class. I felt confident that I would not be a burden on my yoga classmates, and I survived and strived through hard work, preparation to actively contribute to the collective knowledge of my fellow trainees. I'm going to stop this reading because we just have sort of 10 minutes of meditation. I'm going to stay on schedule. I'm going to show you the picture. So being a mom has taught me to always do a picture alert. So this is our actual trainees. This one back here is Inez, who wrote this. And if you want to hear the rest, support our cause by broadening our horizons on Amazon. But I'm really proud of Inez, and that's what we do here. We don't have a political agenda. We just want people to explore their own ultimate opponent and overcome it. And that's what Inez did when she earned her RYT 200. And I'm super excited for all of you in this training to earn yours and overcome your ultimate opponent. So, moving right along. Now we are in part 2, the purple. So part 2 is also 30 minutes. Congratulations. We just finished our first 30 minutes. So now we're in our second 30 minutes, and it is composed of 3 parts, each 10 minutes in length. The first one is our pose of the week, which is Warrior 2. The second one is, we'll do 10 minutes of the sequence of the week. As you may recall, the SHARE method was designed for incarcerated women, and some of them are illiterate. So in order to learn the 45 key poses, we broke it down into 5 sequences, and we would learn 9 poses, and then on the 10th week, have a review week where we reviewed the sequence of the 9 poses to spice up the standard Sun Salutation A. And that method of repetition means that you don't have any tests or quizzes. We've included some things in our Teachable because people have asked for it, but it's totally optional. So we are kinetic learners here at ShareLove.Fund. It's by repetition, and we believe that you actually learn by doing, and later, sneak peek, spoiler alert, oh no, not that, but spoiler alert, I'll pull out the teaching for a cause, because we really would love you to volunteer and teach, and that's how you'll gain confidence teaching. Anyway, in the last part of this middle section will be a brief cumulative review. Okay, so let's get started. So for the marketing folks that splice this up, for our incarcerated women who need this in 10-minute sound bites for their tablets to not crash, we can splice. And also for our live folks who, or our, I guess, on-demand folks who want to scroll through and find the good parts. Now we're gonna do the pose of the week. Okay, so we'll start that 10-minute section. Okay, so the pose of the week, as discussed, is Warrior 2. So let's talk about Warrior 2 for a minute. So Warrior 2, how do we do this? We, our hips are facing forward, knee is over ankle, arms out. You don't want any tension in your shoulder, so you can lift your arms up and then lift them down. Look back over your back hand. Look back over your front hand. Remember to breathe. Squeezing in, squeezing down, Warrior 2. So Warrior 2 is a great pose, and it goes with our mindfulness, what we're talking about. So you can enhance the impact of Warrior 2 by adding that mindfulness component, thinking of yourself as a warrior, thinking of the connection between being martial and being spiritual, thinking about overcoming your ultimate opponent, which might be kicking a bad habit you have, and you can find strength in this pose. Let's inhale, arms up. We'll bring our toes forward. Exhale, just let it all hang out. You can pedal out the feet a little bit. Taking a hold of opposite elbows, just breathe here for a minute. Slowly come up vertebrae by vertebrae, and we're going to do the warrior two on the other side. So this is more the technical section, the technique section for your yoga teacher training, YTT, yoga teacher training, or RYT 200, registered yoga teacher trainer, 200-hour course, Yoga Alliance accredited. Woohoo! No tests or quizzes because we're based on repetition, but we have the tests and quizzes for folks that want to just test themselves for fun. But I say just work out, move, practice it. That way you get exercise. So teach a friend. Okay, so again, what do we do to make sure our shoulders aren't tense? We can lift our palms up, lift them down, soft gaze over the back hand, soft gaze over the front, and remember to breathe. Hips facing forward, and just feeling strong, noticing the difference on both sides. And what's nice about this is you can really lift from the crown of your head up while grounding your feet. You can imagine pushing your back foot into someone for strength. You can imagine growing roots at the bottom of your feet. This is working your core as you sort of tuck it in, zip it up. And it's also working your arms. As a teacher, which all of you will be, you know, you can spice it up, do some arm circles, little Jane Fonda. It also works nicely into stretches. So we'll get into the sequencing in a minute, but warrior two. It's also great to do holding poses. This is how we build strength. You can think about squeezing these two legs together even though they're apart. But imagine if there was, I don't know, like a yardstick, and you were trying to squeeze it together. You're trying to pull this in this back. That really kind of helps you get tall and centered in your core. That also helps with the pelvic floor. We have a postpartum YSAP, the Yoga Alliance continuing education provider. So once you get your RYT 200, you'll need to take, I believe it's 30 classes every 3 years of YSAP. So we provide a postpartum YSAP for 30 hours. It's on our Teachable, just a few clicks away on our website, ShareLove.Fund. And in that postpartum class, we do a lot of pelvic floor exercises. So you can feel engaging the pelvic floor by rolling your hip back, pushing the thigh forward, and this other thigh back. Let's just come up, we'll shake it out a little bit. Now we'll do a forward fold with the arms behind us. You can bend your knees so your chest rests on your knees, and then straighten if you feel comfortable. Take a few breaths here. Nothing in yoga should hurt, and it's important to take advantage of the fact that it is a symmetrical exercise, that we can gain evenness on both sides, and we should, you know, stretch and shake it out. When you feel ready, you can let your hands drop to the floor. You can pedal out your feet on one side and then the other. Coming up slowly, one vertebrae by vertebrae. We'll roll our shoulders back, lift our arms up, and roll them back. So congratulations, we just did Warrior 2, our pose of the week. So now let's check out our sequence of the week. So this is our technique section, our middle section, the second half hour of the class, and we are in part 2 of, I guess like we're in the second 10-minute section of our second 3rd-minute section. So this is sort of like the middle child of the whole class. So anyway, so we'll work on the sequence. So how do we remember Warrior 2? Well, like I said, the share method was based on repetition, and I'm going to repeat that a whole bunch. So all of our courses are sort of geared kind of to the lowest common denominator. So everybody can get a yoga degree if they want to in an affordable way, and that they don't need any prior knowledge, and we can certify someone who's visually impaired and has limited mobility in a wheelchair. They can be the #1 meditation provider. We make confident teachers regardless of what framework we're working with. So anything is possible. So anyway, let's start here. So as you know, when we do the sequence of the week, we start with the Sun Salutation. So we are going to put Warrior 2 into our sequence. Okay, so let's do this. So we'll start with Tadasana for Sun Salutation. Inhale, arms up, upward salute. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half bend. Exhale, step 1 foot back, and the other foot back. Plank. From plank, we're gonna do knees, chest, chin. From knees, chest, chin, we'll come up to baby cobra. From baby cobra, we push up to down dog. This is our first down dog of the day, so let's just spend a minute here. Sorry, I'm a little slippery here. You can pedal out the legs a little bit. If it feels good, you can bend your knees. From down dog, we'll bring our left knee in, step it forward, and we will sort of come up through lunge. So from lunge, I'm trying to think what our pose was last week, week 6. I think it was reverse warrior, so I'm just gonna go with that. But anyway, so I think what I'll do is I'll just do the full sequence. So this is sort of a sneak peek on the weeks to come. So basically we're gonna add 5 poses into this sequence as a way to, into this Sun Salutation as a way to memorize it. So revolved lunge. From revolved lunge, we're gonna do extended side angle. From extended side angle, triangle. From triangle, we're gonna come into Warrior 2. So this is our pose of the week, and this is our sequence of the week, but it's not done yet. From Warrior 2, again, remember we drop the shoulders. We can do that by lifting the palms up and down, eyes over the back of the hand, the front. Inhale, reverse warrior. From reverse warrior, you can windmill the hands around, back to lunge, low lunge. From low lunge, you can step the feet back to plank, come up to down dog. So down dog is where we splice up all the Sun Salutations. Inhale the left leg in, step it through. The right leg, step it through. Exhale, forward fold. Let's just take a minute here and sort of honor what we did. We just got through one side of the new sequence. The pose of the week. You can pedal out the legs on one side, pedal out the legs on the other. Take a hold of opposite elbows. We'll just take a few breaths here. Slowly roll up, vertebrae by vertebrae. Inhale, arms up, upward salute. Exhale, Tadasana. So now let's do that on the other side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half bend. Exhale, now step the right leg back and the left leg back into plank. From plank, let's do knees, chest, chin to baby cobra. From baby cobra, push back up to down dog. Now, down dog, we're right in the middle of our Sun Salutation A. We're going to spice it up with our 5 poses of this series A of Sun Salutation A. One of the poses is our Warrior 2, the pose of the week. So let's get our right knee into our chest, step it through, and now we're in low lunge. From low lunge, just reach up to revolve lunge. I honestly can't tell you how happy I am to be in revolve lunge. We just finished a 52-week series of our RPYT, our prenatal yoga teacher training, which does not allow twists. And now I understand why being pregnant felt so awful when I was pregnant 3 times, because it's not just the weight you're carrying, it's the fact you can't twist and move your body as you're accustomed. Exhale, bring it down, and we're going to do extended side angle. Pardon my back, but it's good branding for ShareLove.Fund. Inhale, triangle. From triangle, we'll exhale into Warrior 2. Lift the palms up to drop the shoulders and back down. You can kind of stretch it a little. Soft gaze over the backhand. And then the front, resting on the front. Really thinking about squeezing the glutes, squeezing the thighs together as if you're holding onto a yardstick. Focusing on your breath. Warrior 2 can be meditative. When you feel ready, you can lean back to reverse warrior, a contemplative pose. Windmill your arms, and now you're back in low lunge. From low lunge, you can kind of go to plank, then down dog. In down dog, you can bend your knees to really get the tailbone up. You can pedal out the feet. If your toes are up, that's great, and then you can kind of let them stretch to the extent it's comfortable. Engaging your core. Inhale the knee in, your right knee in, step it forward. Left foot to match. Exhale, forward fold. Here you can kind of do a twist, a little modification to the other side, but we can sort of think about our revolve lunge and do it as a standing forward fold. So the reason why the Share method only has 45 key signature poses is we found that with these 45 poses, gives you enough to work with. So you can sort of take these 45 poses, plus you can add your own silly variations as long as they're safe, like this. We took the concept of revolve lunge and we you're doing it in a standing forward fold. And so by doing that, you can get 145 poses out of these 45 poses without cluttering up your mind with extra stuff to memorize. If you do this on this side, please do it on the other side. We'll do that for a minute, and we are out of time for this section. So we want you to be symmetrical. Shake it out and slowly come up, vertebrae by vertebrae. Okay, so now we are in our last section of our techniques, the SHARE method cumulative review. So we're only in week 7. We don't have that much to remember. It gets a little silly as we progress to week 52 because it's a lot to fit in 10 minutes, but let us start. So the cumulative review will just be on poses. So let's just do a regular, ordinary Sun Salutation A, so we get the feel of that. We start in Tadasana. Now remember, Tadasana, it seems simple, but we're really doing a lot here. You're engaging your glutes and really just trying to squeeze your legs back, zipping it up, rolling the shoulders back, feet hip-width apart, even grabbing the mat with your toes. You can lift your toes up and roll a little, lift your heels up, try to find that center of balance. When you feel comfortable, you can bring your toes down and really grip them. Why do we spend time talking about gripping toes? Because not in this sequence, but in your Series B sequence, when you learn 9 new poses after these poses, you're gonna need to balance. And really grabbing onto the mat with your toes is the key to balancing. So here, we're in Tadasana. It seems simple, but it's actually quite an active pose. And when you practice being active in it, then it's great. You can get exercise at the grocery store. You can get exercise waiting in the meal line, because you know how to engage yourself even while standing still. Inhale, arms up, upward salute. You can even look up while you do it. Exhale, forward fold. In forward fold, you can pedal out your feet a little bit. And even if it feels good, you can bend your knees and put your hands under your feet. And that can also sort of be like a wrist stretch, and also kind of be some sensory stimulation for under your feet. If it feels okay, you can straighten your legs or straighten one leg. You can kind of play around with it. Sometimes doing one at a time gives a deeper stretch. Now you may feel this in your back, in your shoulders, in your side. You might feel this in your hamstring, in your calves, in your ankles. Even your neck. You're going to feel it in the point that you're tightest. If you were pedaling it out on the 2 sides, switch sides so it's even. You can try to get a deeper stretch by bending your elbows, curling your neck in almost like rabbit, but then relaxing your shoulders. If you want a deeper stretch, you can cross the arms. That way you're stretching your wrists, but you're also stretching the muscles in your upper back. You're stretching the lateral muscles in your upper back through this cross stretch. Let's take a few breaths here. From here, inhale, half bend. Exhale the left leg back to plank, and then the right leg. Inhale, or sorry, from plank, we'll go down to knees, chest, chin. Baby Cobra. Baby Cobra, we're going to be quite active here. You're squeezing your whole glutes, back of the thighs, and your back. So this really prepares us for later in series C, I believe. Yep, series, or is it series D? I don't know. I can't see this far, but I think it's series C. In series C, we do locust pose, we do boat pose, we do fish, and we're really using this back. So Baby Cobra, when we keep on doing Baby Cobra, this is active. And you're gonna need that because later for locust, you're gonna use it. So these hands, you don't want too much weight in it or too much tension in your shoulders. It's really just a placeholder. From Baby Cobra, we push up to down dog. And here we can pedal out the feet again. Really getting a stretch. I forgot to say in the beginning of class, but you're always welcome to go into child's pose if it doesn't feel good. Down dog, let's just kind of like roll back and forward to really try to get in position. The most important thing is that your back's straight. So if you need to bend your knees and lift up your heels, to do that, go for it. This is not a feet touching the ground contest. This is a lengthening your spine and feeling good opportunity. From here, we will just continue doing our regular Sun Salutation A, just the basic. Inhale, left leg in, sorry, it's live, I forgot. Okay, right leg comes to meet. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, slowly, slowly, slowly. Roll up, arms up, and upward salute. Exhale, Tadasana. So now we'll do that on the other side. So this is just the most basic Sun Salutation A without any of the share method poses, and because this is our cumulative review. And it's only week 7, so there's not that much to review. Okay, so we'll do it on the other side with a little more fluidity. Inhale, arms up, upward salute. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half bend. Exhale, right leg back, left leg back to plank. From plank, knees, chest, chin. From knees, chest, chin to Baby Cobra. From Baby Cobra, push up to down dog. From down dog, bring your right knee in, step it forward. Your left knee in, step it forward. Exhale, forward fold. If it feels good, you can cross your hands and put them under your feet. Just if you had it crossed one way before, then cross them the other way because it's a little bit different of a stretch. If you don't remember, I'll give you an opportunity to do both. Just let your body fall. Ask yourself, what if you let your guard down? Are you afraid of that ultimate opponent? Are you uptight because you're holding that ultimate opponent inside of you? I'm referring to our Tao meditation or proverb in the beginning. Okay, switch cross your arms on the other side. So like I had it under the feet, but you can also grab the sides of your legs or like this, whichever. The point is not to follow me exactly. The point is to get guidance from me and then make little changes so you maximize the benefit to yourself. All of you guys are in this because you are going to be yoga teachers, and part of being a teacher means making decisions. So you have to kind of take the buffet of life and do what serves you. Exhale and inhale, slowly coming up vertebrae by vertebrae. Inhale all the way up, arms up, and exhale, arms to the side. So that was awesome. Now we are in our final part. You guys worked so hard. We get to finally practice. So this is the final half hour of class. We're gonna do a practice. This 30 minutes is also composed of 10-minute sections, 3 10-minute sections. You have the 10-minute warm-up, 10-minute core, which means the center, but I also always call it the core because I do want to really work your core. I believe in it. And the 10-minute cool down. So for marker, I'm just gonna do this, the warm up. Okay, so now we're gonna start the warm up. Okay, marker's clear. Okay, so without further ado, let's now feel good. So guys, we did our mindfulness, our critical thinking. We worked the mind with critical thinking. We worked the mind again with the 30 minutes of technique, because this isn't just a yoga class, this is a yoga teacher training, and now we actually get to warm up. So take a comfortable seated position in Sukhasana or easy seat. I'm gonna grab a water, and Sukhasana or easy seat was the first pose in our yoga teacher training, the first of 45 key poses. We went over it in week 3. Week 1 was the intro. Week 2 introduced the Sun Salutation. Every week ending in a 2, you get a full sequence. So weeks 2, 12, 22, 32, 42, and your final week, week 52, you will get a sequence. All those sequences together, those 5 sequences together, comprise all the poses in the Share method. So if someone just learns those 5 routines, they could teach a Monday through Friday class, all different, and know every single pose we teach. If they forget something along the way, they can just smile really big and call it a variation. It's not meant to be limiting and to make people memorize. It's meant to be a tool that someone who graduates from our program, that there's been so much repetition that they can pretty much mindlessly teach Monday through Friday if they had to, and that's an option. Or some of our graduates may never want to do our routines and just take their Yoga Alliance accredited degree and do something else, and that is why we are online and on demand and self-paced, so you can pick and choose from the buffet what serves you. Because this program was designed for incarcerated women, and because incarcerated women have time on their hands, we wanted a full 200 hours of guided instruction for the 200-hour training, 300 hours of guided instruction for the 300-hour training, and so forth. 95 hours for the RCYT children's and 85 hours for the RPYT prenatal, and then of course our 30-hour YSAP. So we have over 1,000 videos on YouTube and making more every day like today. So now that I gave all of that, I hope you guys had a chance to rest in easy seat. Let's take a few gentle breaths while we rainbow our arms to one side. Stretch, 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 and release. Stretch, 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 and release. Thinking about keeping the back straight. I love the rainbow arms because it's a reminder that whatever is going on in your day, you can paint your own rainbow. We talked earlier in the class of the greatest opponent is the one inside you, and even for someone incarcerated, they can use that as an opportunity to earn a degree or to physically rest without the burdens of childcare. I don't say that lightly. I can't imagine what that must be like. But I also think that we have to find strength in the challenges that we face in our life. We have to make our environment work for us. It's too much energy to work against it. So try to take the lemons and make lemonade. Stretch, 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 and release. Inhale, the arms up, and you can do a twist. Inhale, the arms up on the other side, and then do a twist. Exhale. Inhale, arms up, and walk it forward, and walk it to the side. So at your comfort zone, kind of this rainbow idea, but we're just stretching the whole side body, all the way down to the hip. Walk your hands to the other side. Walking your hands up slowly, slowly, slowly. You can put a little pressure on your neck, rolling your shoulders back, or I guess your head to stretch your neck. You can do a little self-massage on your neck if that feels good, to sort of remind yourself to let go. Inhale and bring your head to the other side. Just asking yourself, what am I holding on to? What will happen if I just let go? What am I afraid of? In this Tao meditation we read in the beginning, it said, can you overcome your ultimate warrior? And we talked about maybe the ultimate warrior is fear. Fear and anxiety. And one way that I found helpful, and I just share it in case it's helpful to you, by no means do I have the right answer. I'm definitely figuring it out every day and making mistakes like everybody else. But a lot of times we beat ourselves up for fear and anxiety. But what I tell my students is that same fear that you have about doing a handstand is also the fear that kept you from falling off a bridge or falling off a cliff at a school hike. So sometimes anxiety and fear protects us. So if we stop looking at everything as good and bad, then we can just experience it like clouds rolling by and respond thoughtfully and deliberately instead of impulsively react. And then we can find a place for things like at the initial onset of fear, it's not so much the fear that is destructive, it's the impulsive immediate reaction to that fear, in my personal opinion, that I think is destructive. So it's like, if you see a snake, I don't think it's so bad that your mind thinks, oh shoot, I could get bit and hurt. But what's bad is to freak out and step on a bunch of leaves. So being non-reactive to the fear, like, oh, there's a snake, but I'm not going to react. I'm going to take a deep breath and I'm going to be very still because they don't have, good sight or smell or whatever. I'm not a snake expert, so that definitely, if we have some Boy Scouts on here, then you guys can message me and tell me how wrong I was on that. But but it's the idea. It's the thought that counts. Okay, let's continue with our warm-up. Doing a few cat-cows. Push up. Let's jump our hands up and slowly come up, vertebrae by vertebrae. So, congratulations, you're done with your warm-up. Now we are in part 2 of our practice section, the practicum, I guess, putting it all together. So we finished our warm-up, now we are going to do the core. I did a little heart because it's heart healthy. So let's do it. So we are now in the standing position from our warm-up. We did Tadasana. We spent a lot of time grounding ourselves. So now let's get to work on our warm-up. I mean, not our warm-up, on our core. Let's get to work by getting into chair. We'll come to upward salute. Bend down like you're sitting in a chair. Bring your toes up. Tuck this in. And see how low you can go. Yoga is not about comparing. It's about achieving a personal best. Do you feel your legs working? Good. Do you feel your arms working? Good. Does something hurt? Not good. Yoga is not supposed to hurt. Are you losing your balance? Great. That means that you're trying new things. So focus on a spot in the wall. Inhale and use your breath to center your balance. Sit down a little lower if you need to. And I'm losing my balance too. So it's a practice, not a perfect. By balancing, we are working all our little stabilizer muscles, and we're working our brain to concentrate. And you have to use your breath, because holding your breath doesn't work. So it forces us to get it all working together. Exhale. We can shake it out a little bit. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we're going to jump the legs back, making our stomach tight. From here, we're going to bring one knee down and kind of stretch out that calf a little bit. From here, we'll keep it one leg long and the arm out. So this is a balancing pose too, and it works the core. Bring the arms down, and now let's switch it to the other side. From here, let's bring one arm through, threading the needle, and we'll do a shoulder stretch. Inhale, and on the other side. Coming up, we'll come back to table. And from table, we're going to kind of kick up to the ceiling. So, and let's make it a little bit harder. Let's try to have one arm out. So if that's too much, you can have the arm down, but let's just kick the ceiling 10 times. Not really. Good luck. Let me know if you kick the ceiling for real. ShareLove Fund is not responsible for property damage. That's a disclaimer. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and let's hold it for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll bring it into touch and back. Let's do it on the other side. Bringing an arm out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we'll hold it for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you'll bring it into touch. From here, let's go outward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we'll hold it for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we'll bring it in across the body. And we'll do it on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we'll hold it for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we'll bring it in to the body. Exhale, let's stretch it out a little. In downward dog, we can pedal out the feet again. Inhale, making the stomach tight, jump up through the hands. Slowly roll up vertebrae by vertebrae. Inhale, the arms up. And exhale, hands to the side, drawing one leg up to tree. So again, balancing is really working the core. Zip it up. You can hold on to something if you want. You can do toe taps on the floor. Doesn't really matter what you're doing as long as you feel that your core is engaged. So this is not about going to the Yoga Olympics. This is about feeling empowered. And we feel empowered when we feel like we have our stuff together. And we have our stuff together when our core is actually strong and we're actually like zipped up, solid, solidified, and ready to go. I'm not sure that is the right use of solidified, so I will have to look that up, but it sounded fancy at the time. So as you're here, remember to breathe. You can put a little pressure on your shoulders to have them drop down a little bit. Squeeze your glutes and imagine like your foot and your thigh are mad at each other and they're like, "Arr!" and like pushing each other, "Arr!" and really like feel that engaged, feel that opposition, because that is what is going to help you balance. So you can think of one, like your foot is you and your thigh is your ultimate opponent. Anyway, I lost my concentration trying to say a corny joke, so that is a good lesson. Do not say corny jokes while balancing, trying to teach a yoga class. We may have to add a test question on that. We may have to break our no tests and quizzes rule. Anyway, that is just a joke. There's really no tests and quizzes, except there are some optional handouts of tests and quizzes because people really wanted it so badly. I don't know. Can't explain. Okay, so let's do the other side. So we shake it out, and then again, we're really pushing this thigh to this foot together. Really feeling the opposition, feeling the grounding. You can take a focal point to stare at. Your hands can be however you want them to be, but this is definitely easier when the hands are in heart center. Really squeeze it together. Feel this thigh engaged, feel the foot pushing against it. But pushing the foot against it, it kind of makes your thigh react to get engaged. You can shake it all out. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Come back to plank. In plank, we'll roll forward, roll back. Really kind of feel it. Coming down to our elbows, a nice forearm plank. From forearm plank, pushing up into dolphin. You can bend your knees. This is like down dog, but on our forearm. From dolphin, push up to down dog. And from down dog, we're gonna engage our core and step through our hands. Jump through our hands, I mean. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, slowly roll up. Vertebrae by vertebrae. Congratulations, you finished your core workout. And this is the last, but not the least, the cool down. So this is the final 10 minutes of class. You've done an awesome, awesome 80 minutes. Final 10 minutes. Cool down work. So here we go. So for this cool down that you have earned, please find a comfortable space on a mat. You can do it in a chair, but it's not going to be as restorative. So let's exhale and just take a moment to find your natural breath. As we discussed earlier in class, your natural breath is a type of breath. So you are all breathwork experts in your natural breath. And at the end of the class for the cool down, it's kind of like that book, Goodnight Moon, where they say the day is done. I don't know what they say exactly, but Goodnight Moon. And this is a time where you're not working on a particular breath. You're just sinking into your natural breath. As you sink into your natural breath, let your feet roll to the outer edges of the mat. Try to gain connection with your back, your whole spine with the mat. So if it feels good, you can roll your knees in and kind of shake it out a little, and then slowly kick your legs out. And just really try to think about using your natural breath to let your entire back, your entire spine gain connection with the mat. You can lift your chin in and then roll your head back, trying to even get the whole neck. Like imagine if your head didn't have a curve to it, if your whole neck could touch the mat. And then for some people it can. I have not seen it, but I am told. As you inhale, oopsies, you can bring your hands overhead and bringing your feet together in a goddess pose. This is Recline Goddess. If this does not feel good on your arms, you don't need to have your hands together like this. But if you want your hands together, you can. So this is Recline Goddess. I suppose we will do more in depth later. From Recline Goddess, you can bring your knees into your chest, shake it out again, cross your legs like you're having a fancy tea party. Roll your knees to the side. You can straighten a leg out. So it's kind of like this, but to the side. You want to keep your shoulder to the mat. Your shoulder to the mat is more important than your leg on the mat. You can bring your hand on your thigh to get a little deeper of a stretch. And just breathe here. Letting go. Twists are great for cleansing. And just see how your body sinks into it when you're here a little longer than you expected. there's a certain point where your body just lets go. Let's go. Bring your knees back into your chest. Give yourself a little hug. Some self-love. You can cross your legs on the other side like a tea party. Knees on one side. You can straighten out a leg and another leg. So again, this is kind of like this on this side. Arm opposite. You can use this other arm to ground your leg, and then your head faces the opposite direction of your leg. You want to ground your shoulder. Your shoulder touching the ground is more important than your foot touching the ground. So keeping that in mind, just take a few breaths or more, and let's just really try to sink into this twist. What if you just wrung your back out like a wash rag? Would it feel good? Obviously, if something hurts, don't do it, but try to just use the natural weight of your body against gravity to really lengthen. They say twists and binds are great for cleansing. And so please be sure to drink a lot of water after this cool down. When you feel ready, you can bring your knees back into your chest. Cross your legs, again like a tea party. Grabbing hold of your ankles and stretch it. You'll feel it on one side. Really just take a few breaths. The glutes are one of your biggest muscles, and it's really stubborn and it doesn't like to stretch, but this is a great way to get more flexibility in pigeon for people who pigeon is uncomfortable for. So you're really addressing pigeon from the other side. You can cross your legs on the other side. And stretch, grabbing your ankles. Really falling into it. Asking yourself, what if I just let go? What if I stopped holding on? From here, you can go into happy baby, rocking it out from side to side, getting a nice hamstring stretch, trying to keep your sacrum on the mat, not rolling up, but just really trying to keep your whole spine on the mat. You can wrap your elbows in a little bit to get a little deeper of a hip stretch. When you feel ready, you can roll onto one side. Slowly come up so you're not lightheaded. At your own pace, take a few breaths. Don't rush it. And when you're ready, namaste. May the light in me be the light in you. Namaste is not a religious thing for us at Share Love Fund. It's just a traditional way to end a yoga class and to sort of let people know that there's no more material after this point. Have a blessed day and go out, be goddesses in the world, masters of your own destiny, and overcome your ultimate opponent. Take care.